Welcome everybody to another game of the Bridon League. This is Group B, basically unknown versus Cleave in a best of one series, or well, in a best of one. Of course, basically unknown, definitely the favorites coming into this game as well as for this group. All in all, yesterday, absolutely dominating performance by them. Cleave though, against Kumba yesterday for example, they didn't look too bad to begin with. Just unable to string a couple of things together, maybe just the shot calling let them down a little bit. Today though, they do have a couple of stand-ins. Dota Stock, who should maybe be from Ursa's Droidram, as was Afterlife from Album Sheet, so we'll see how well it's gonna fare for them today, but basically unknown, they have their full roster, the mix of them and Denial, of course. Basically unknown had to, or used to have a different roster, but now they did mix with Denial. But in any case, we're HeflaTV, your English coverage. I'm Coucher, and I'll be joined by MRP. More rage, please, man. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Very excited to see BU continue to play. As you mentioned, the mix with Denial has kind of panned out very well for them thus far. They're 2-0 so far, if don't stand corrected, in the Bridon League, and this will take them to 3-0 if they're able to beat up Cleave. But as you mentioned, Cleave certainly no slouches in this one, but BU at this point at least looks leaps and bounds ahead of the competition in Group B.
Yeah, it's just yesterday, the two games they won, I think the first one was a 21 to 22 minute victory, and the second one was like 15 or 16 minutes in, so
Yeah.
definitely crashing performance. And both of those games, I do believe, were handling a Lycan, and well, what do we know? Lycan first pick, so basically I know definitely favoring that hero rather highly to pick it this early on. Something like a Chikiro might follow, of course, maybe a Dazzle, who the hell knows, but for Cleave, Vengeful Spirit definitely a pretty solid start as well. As the secondary pick though, I mean, if you're Cleave, do go for heroes that can fight often, maybe like an Axe with an early Blink dagger against Lycan actually isn't all that bad, especially since Lycan has a lot of
Yeah.
units as well.
Axe is very nice versus Lycan. Venge is not that effective versus Lycan, but definitely denies the Wave of Terror to the Lycan, which would accelerate his ability to Roche. So Venge working well with Lycan, not the best against Lycan. Swap isn't certainly too reliable versus that 650 MS in the shapeshifted form, and usually you'll see the Lycan build into a BKB as his second or third tier 2 item. Either way, they will pick up the Centaur, so they are looking to offer themselves a little bit of lockdown. Stampede will also help them chase down that Lycan. But as you mentioned, BU do favor this Lycan quite a bit, and the recent meta has allowed it to slip through the first ban phase quite often, so that's definitely playing into their hand.
Yeah, it's just all in all at the moment, it's so hard to ban out every hero. It's
Yeah.
just, you only have two bans at the start, and some teams, they don't even care about those heroes that are mostly banned. And to be honest, the funny thing is that, for example, when Lycan used to be like first ban material, it was banned like 90% of the games. And then, in the odd chance that it slipped through, it wasn't that effective just because teams themselves, they didn't even know how to utilize it. They just knew it was strong, but
Yeah.
since nobody ever got to practice with it, it just kind of failed because of that. But at the moment, there are only a couple of such heroes. I guess the Troll Warlord and Juggernaut are heroes that stand out for the new
Definitely.
editions.
Yeah, in DAC they've been super popular, and it has leaked over into Bryden a little bit, if not into the picks, definitely into the bans. BU gonna go a little bit throwback here with the Ogre Magi pickup. The Bloodlust is very nice to combo up with that Lycan. He does offer some lockdown as well. Naga Siren AA bans coming out from BU, so the AA ban a little bit preemptively effective now that the Void has been picked up by Cleave, and they're gonna ban out the Puck as well as the Tidehunter.
Yeah, now there's Zeus coming out for Cleave, so it might be their mid laner, might be the secondary support as well, but with the Chronosphere being there, Zeus can, with relative safety, just stand around, spam at least two Lightning Bolts there, lots of Arc Lightnings in between, of course, as well, so getting massive static field value. But the Emperor Assassin to pick up for basically unknown, so between the Dazzle and the Temper Assassin, lots of minus armor to come there, which of course will help out Lycan in turn, and Cleave, funny enough, they do ban out the Axe themselves. Of course, they do have already their off laner, their safe laner, and possibly even the mid one. But Cleave, one thing they are lacking is some form of just damage over time ability, or just multiple instances of damage to get rid of
Yeah.
the refraction easily.
Yeah, they are going to need to pierce through that TA's refraction. Otherwise, she will have a very good time in this one and is not the ideal Chronosphere target if she's able to get off the refraction. They also have the Shallow Grave at their disposal for BU, so that's very nice up against what Cleave has to offer thus far. But as you mentioned, the Chronosphere is going to allow Zeus to do a lot of nuke damage from outside it into it. So that is certainly something that's scary for BU early on before these BKBs come out for both Lycan and the TA. And generally, you see the Lycan's BKB come out a little bit later. But as you mentioned, that DOT damage going to be coveted here by Cleave. So we will see the Venomancer banned out by them, but still a lot of options available for Cleave. They may be looking for a support here. If they do not, this will make their lineup a little bit greedy with Zeus in the support role, but they have banned out the Axe, so they are trying to ban out ways to punish the Zeus. However, if the TA does begin to snowball, that Zeus, if not in a core role, will be absolute food.
Oh, that is definitely true, man. Well, at the moment for Cleave, they have a tough or just decision ahead of them whether to run the Zeus as a support or to put him in the carry role. And if they do put him in the core role, which means mid lane, even then Zeus will have a probably pretty hard time against Temper Assassin, to be honest, with the Psyblades and everything. Unless it's a Lycan mid lane, but with a Temper Assassin being there, I would probably prefer Templar there. Just great room control thanks to Psionic Trap, especially up against a Zeus. For Cleave though, do you think something like a Slark would be a viable pick to even send into the mid lane at the moment?
Yeah, Dark Pact is very good versus what they have from the side of BU. They only really have one reliable lockdown in the Fire Blast from the Ogre Magi. So Slark would have a very good time in this game. As I mentioned earlier, it's going to make their draft a little bit greedy, and they will end up picking up the Lion here. So they are going to opt for that core Zeus. But either way, this hasn't remedied the issue that they have in terms of busting down those refraction charges. And TA should be fine to just blink into their face. I was going to say BU does lack a little bit of low initiation, but they'll look to rectify that. Picking up the Clockwork here, and I really do like that pick for them. It is pretty annoying versus a Void if you're able to get off that Battery Assault before the Chronosphere. And either way, the Centaur is going to be looking to initiate himself, so the counter initiation as well as the initiation power from the Clockwork will seem to fit this lineup very well.
Yeah, it's probably a decent dish. The only downside is that they're running with 4 melee heroes themselves. So the Cogs, it is also going to make it so that Lycan or Temper Assassin might be able to reach over the Cogs with maxed out Psyblades, but Lycan definitely cannot help out in killing the target that is cogged in, if there is anybody cogged in at all. But also just up against a Chronosphere, even a Centaur Hoofstomp, it is a little bit scary to be clumped up or just have mass melee heroes. Even I guess a little bit for the Lion Nerve Spike, for example, he can, I think with rather good odds, hit like 2 people at least.
Yeah, you'll probably look for an early 4-staff from this Clockwork. He'll probably look to jump in, cog people, and get out himself. Because as you mentioned, they don't have so much assist from BU from the outside in. They do have the Shadow Wave, which is pretty nice, but without a bunch of units there, it's not going to do a hefty amount of damage. So I still do favor slightly BU's draft. Just the way that it synergizes together. Shallow Grave is amazing with Lycan and is also pretty good with TA if it allows her to get off another set of refraction charges. So I really like the Dazzle pickup. I feel like they do lack a little bit of power in terms of roaming from their supports, but they do have a lot of lane presence for sure with the Ogre Magi.
Yeah, they might even be running some form of dual lanes if they really want to. Then again, if they run, let's say, a Clockwork Dazzle off lane, that's just gonna mean that it's gonna be Ogre Lycan, I would think, or I guess maybe Ogre Temper Assassin might be a thing as well for them, for the safe lane. But if it's up against, say, just Centaur, for example, Ogre has or will have limited success in dealing with the Centaur, and probably Clockwork should be fine just solo as well. So maybe Unknown. Oh, what they will probably do is what they have been doing, of course, is usually at least it's been Lycan mid, or it doesn't matter if it's safe lane. Lycan can be that as well easily. So he gets like level 5, goes into the jungle, and you have just one support purely farm up the lane.
Yeah, definitely a very nice configuration for them. Lycan certainly can retreat to the jungle and do a lot of work there. So I do expect that to happen, as you mentioned as well. I don't know what your experience is with Magoma, but every time I watch him cast an Ogre game, he multicasts since he gets the level 6, he multicasts every single cast of Fire Blast. So I think he's the best Ogre player in the world, clearly the most skilled, but we'll see if that continues to be the theme in this one. Either way, GG, well played. Called out by Bambo here.
Yesterday, actually, funny enough, Mike was also like, if I remember correctly, Magoma is an Ogre god. And, well, he did multicast, but we had a long discussion that it's like great Ogre players, they know when to multicast. They're gonna like store up their multicasts if it's not necessary, if a single stun will do to get the kill, but it was the craziest thing, like in the middle of the team fight, I think there might have been a mini pause, or maybe just there was like a chronosphere to a little bit delay the fight. And Mike was like, I swear to God, after the stun or something, Ogre Magi will multicast. And bam, triple cast immediately.
Yeah, I think one of the first games I ever casted of him was with Mike Loris, and he was disgusting on the Ogre. But it looks like we will get things underway here, guys. So for this Radiant side, we've got basically unknown, currently undefeated in the Bridon League. Sashka or Paris going to take that Lycan towards the safe lane. He'll be accompanied by Seb, fucking mad, on that Dazzle. Mind Control will take to the mid lane on the Templar Assassin. And in the off lane, we'll have the dual lane of Magoma's signature Ogre Magi, as well as Bambo's Clockwork.
As for Cleave, who are trying to go for some aggression early on, Envy playing the Lion with Hakon to be up on the center Warrunner, leaving Dota stock to play the Faceless Void with Yajitsu on the Vengeful, and Afterlife is going to be the last one for the Zeus, who is most likely heading towards the mid lane, even has a Clarity for himself instead of one Iron Branch, but all they might get themselves an easy kill if they just ate the 3 well, which Paris does, but he's gonna run into 2 anyway. Magic Missile, Hoof Stomp, not even needed, there it comes. And first blood for Afterlife, so he has his bottle coming out already on the Zeus, and well, probably gonna be pretty damn close to those boots as well.
Yeah, 900 gold on Afterlife. He's a nice addition to this Cleave lineup. I feel like he fits their playstyle pretty well. Definitely look for them to get aggressive off the back of the pickups of Chronosphere and Thunder God's Wrath. But Bambo and Magoma sitting on the high ground, perhaps looking for Dota stock as he rotates over. Probably not the best target to go on, especially if he skills up this time walk. They aren't going to have too much kill potential, and he will proceed to back off on the Ogre Magi for the time being. Bounty Rune picked up top by Bambo, and Afterlife picks up the one at bottom, so his early economy looking really good on the Zeus.
Yeah, it's massive, to be honest. He got like easy extra 500 gold almost for him. So that's always going to be nice. Even as the Courier still hanging about, maybe wants to spam mass Arc Lightnings, drain out the bottle completely, send the Courier back, but Courier at the moment, oh yeah, he was waiting where to send it from. Magoma almost even ran into it, but gets an Arc Lightning in his pack for his troubles. Of course, Zeus now is missing a little bit of XP, but with the Bounty Rune, he's just going to be fine. Had Mind Control picked it up, it might, or for the unknown side, might be kind of even. Bottom lane Paris might be in trouble now. There's going to be Hex to start things up with. Hoofstomp will follow as well. Shadow Wave comes out, but another Magic Missile. And I don't think they will have enough. Lycan might just be fast, never mind. Hakon's right click a little bit too strong for them to handle, and now Envy will run out as the Lion, or will he? What? Okay, he got confused about where to run there. Shadow Wave does miss, but with one right click, with the Fire Blast helping out to get the kill in the end.
He definitely did look a little bit confused there. Either way, it ends up being a 1-for-1. Salve is here for Zayko, so he should be fine to heal up now. Cogs are going to go out top lane. They're going to burn most of Dota stock mana, and Bambo should have a very good time in this 1v1 matchup, but Dota stock shouldn't be too hard-pressed to find his farm. It looks like we will have that tri-lane versus tri-lane situation for mostly the entirety of this early game.
Yeah, Sexy Bambo definitely off to a really great start. 6-5 compared to a 2-1 Faceless Void. But for the Clockwork, do you build a bottle, for example, or just... I guess bottle is kind of a common build on Clockworks these days, but do you still go for it?
Yeah, I mean, you see usually that or the Magic Stick here. The Battery Assault spam will be very nice versus the Void, and it looks like he has maxed it up. He's going to Cog Dota stock once again. He will drain his mana, but bottom lane, Magic Missile goes on to Magoma. The Hoof Stomp is there as well. He's going to get graved up, though, over top that double edge, but he should be chased down here by Zayko. One last right click from MV will finish him off, but some nice body blocking from Paris is going to be there. The Earth Spike, though, going to sound the retreat for Yajitsu, but one more right click is there from Seb, and fucking Mad does find another kill. That's, again, a 1-for-1 in this bottom lane, but he's been hemmed in here, and a couple more right clicks from MV will be there. And that'll end up being a 2-for-1 going Cleave's way in this aggressive try line, which has been pretty successful thus far.
Yeah, especially since the center himself has not been dying. I mean, only has one lasted, so I guess it's not that great, but at least he's getting some nice XP out of this. And of course, center with XP, even though you're a little bit low on mana for the hoof stomp, just double edge by itself might already be enough with the lockdown coming in from the Vengeful and the Lion. But if you look at last hit numbers, for example, top lane, still going just extremely well for the Clockwork of Sexy Bambo. Mid lane, it's just Temper Assassin 16 and 4 compared to an 11 and 2. Of course, Afterlife, you cannot really expect him to win such a lane, I think.
Definitely.
But then again, Arc Lighting spam is decent-ish in clearing of the reflection charges, but definitely not the greatest.
No, certainly so. You expect the TA to have an advantage here. So him keeping up at all is just fine, especially with the start he had. He's got his boots and bottle all right, and he will be able to find his levels as well as his farm. But yeah, Mind Control certainly going to farm a little bit better. So at this moment, it looks like all three lanes are, or two lanes are going the way of BU, and Cleave slightly winning out this try versus try situation. And if they're able to keep down Paris' Lycan, it should bode well for them into the mid game regardless.
Oh, it most certainly should. Of course, Unknown, they've been in a similar situation before as well, as Dota stock once again gets cocked, pushed, Sexy Bambo on top of those bottom lane though. Fire Blast stops the mana drain for a little while, the slows come out as well, but a beautiful hoof stomp will catch all three of them. Earthquake to follow on too, but they're still not having enough damage. Now finally with the double edge connecting on two supports, they will claim them, and well, one double edge just turned everything around, and I was so sure Lion will die.
Yeah, big magic stick pop there by Envy, and a huge hoof stomp from Zayko as well, as you mentioned. Dazzle walking in to find that Shadow Wave nuke to finish off the Lion, walks right into the radius of the hoof stomp, and very well placed there by Zayko. So things looking good once again. They'll find 2-0 in the bot lane. 6-2 is your score, 4.5 minutes in.
I do have to say that the center's name, by the way, is with Russian letters, so it's Hakon or Hakon.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
It's, I mean, for the longest of time, I used to call him Xako, which sounds way more badass to be honest than Hakon, but...
Yeah. Hakan sounds like maybe one of your classmates, but either way, he is playing very well.
Maybe for you in Canada.
He is playing very well, claritying up. He's picked up his Tranquils as well, so he's going to have a lot of stability in this lane. We do have so much disable. Lion going for the cookie cutter build. 1-1-1.
Sexy Bambo might even try to go for the kill. He has the hookshot as well. Battery Shot getting a lot of value, and he knows Dota stock does not have enough mana. A little bit weird that Faces Void hasn't gone for a magic stick, to be honest, because Clockwork is using a lot of his abilities, or has been using them.
Bottom lane. Hakan gets really low, but he'll be able to back up. Magic Missile will be into Magoma, but the Shadow Wave going to keep him up from any harass from the tower. And yeah, very nice kill for Bambo. They also rotate over Envy, who is definitely killable with the hook shot here. Is Bambo going to look to go in? He doesn't quite have enough mana if he uses that hook shot for a battery assault, and he really needs that for any kill potential. Dota Stock going to TP right back in, and he'll throw out a Rocket Flare to scout things out and have to back off. He did opt for that bottle, as you mentioned, and may be able to secure this 6-minute rune unless Mind Control is the one to take it. He actually will give it over to Bambo. Certainly understandable here.
I would totally like to know what the Russian means behind Envy's name. It's something about grandmother. It's like Babushki is grandmother, so I understand the middle part, and Recept maybe like probably some kind of grandmother's like recipe, I don't know. But
yeah, I was gonna say, well, if he says he's like grandma's cookies, then he's always good, so definitely bodes well as a pro player. But either way, Hakan gonna throw out a double edge into the bottom wave. Magoma is currently by himself, fucking mad, rotating in, but Paris starting to farm up the jungle, so this alludes or indicates how well Cleave's tri-lane has been doing here, and he will be able to find some farm over in the jungle. Has picked up 28 CS, now second on the board to Mind Control's TA, so he should be able to recover just fine, but definitely a success thus far for the aggressive try for Cleave.
Yeah, definitely not too shabby at all. So they're just going to leave the supports to be, but Cleave, they don't want Paris to be free farming or just farming in the jungle. They do try to go in with a smoke. Smoke does break or wear off now. Just the wolves scouting them out. Paris doesn't really want to go uphill like yes he does. With fucking Mac coming in. Immediate Hex, but the Psionic Trap will slow them down. Earthspike to follow. They just do not have enough damage. Thunder God's Wrath is used, but fucking Matt still alive thanks to Shadow Wave. just a security measure of the shallow grave as well, and they do get the 1 kill. Almost even the lion, but not quite.
Yeah, they overlapped their stuns almost perfectly there, or totally imperfectly, but they did have to run and back off, so they didn't quite have the damage, even if they stayed around. But either way, does allow the Dazzle to survive, as well as that Vengeful Spirit. So, oh, actually, the Venge did end up going down. Was that? Yeah, so either way, Unknown looking pretty good in that rotation, and Paris gonna find some XP from that one. He'll take a Lightning Bolt as he picks up that Haste rune, but we'll be able to regen just fine off of that, and he's gonna find his Shapeshift soon as well. TP's into the bottom lane are from the supports. Bambo zoning out Dota stock, but he's found his Chronosphere as well as his level 7. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Ijitsu is gonna pick off fucking Mad, but the Ignite's ticking down. Hakon, he'd had to use his Stampede, but the Haste rune from Paris is there, trying to juke in the trees, but gets off a Hoof Stomp. The Magic Missile is there as well, but the Fire Blast from Magoma will finish off the Centaur, and Paris able to rotate out under the effects of that Haste rune. Things looking better and better for BU after what was a pretty poor start.
Yeah, and farm-wise, or last hit-wise, they've still been doing extremely well, especially this mid-lane Temper Assassin, who might be going for that Blink Dagger, for example, just because if there are no ways to clear reflection charges easily, you're still going to be able to blink these days, or once again at least.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty huge buff to the Temper Assassin, and the reason why he's a little bit more popular once again as well. But bottom lane, the Fire Blast that killed off Centaur, it was extremely necessary. Had the Fire Blast not come out to secure the kill, the double edge was off cooldown, so Centaur would have been able to turn things around on the Lycan even. So nice.
Top lane, Bambo gets hexed up. They might commit a Chronosphere here, but actually just low on mana is Dota stock. He whiffed the hook on the Void underneath the tower, so unfortunately for Bambo is pretty low. Now we'll have to bottle up. Is opting for that early Blade Mail as opposed to the Force Staff, so he's going to look for some one-on-one kill potential, and certainly understandable as he's already sitting on level 8.
Yeah, it's actually a great item against most of Cleave's heroes. I mean, against Finger of Death, against Zeus and Centaur as well. Heroes that have lots of burst damage coming out as a TP back to bottom lane. Lion is coming in, no Finger of Death, but they want to go. Stampede is used, but the Fire Blast buys a little bit of time, but the beautiful Hoof Stomp lands onto a never mind, not gonna help Yanjitsu. He will go down quite easily, so Paris gets hexed, but well, he's gonna be running at 650 movement speed. I mean, Hex doesn't really stop him from running from you as well. Hakon, even he's gonna go down. Hoof Stomp only lands on 1 this time around the Mind Control. He did join the fight for the first time, more or less, so gets 2 assists, 3 heroes down, Cleave's entire tri-lane wiped.
Yeah, very nice Psionic Trap there from Mind Control, and ever since this laning stage has started to break down here, BU has just had better movement than Cleave has, so kudos to them for playing very well together. Chronosphere is going to go out top lane onto Bambo. Afterlife is rotating in with a Lightning Bolt, but the cogs were already there, and he's going to hook forward onto Dota stock. He'll get the Battery Assault off, but the Creep Wave will soak that up, and he should be doomed to fall here. Is going to pop the Blade Mail, but Bambo pretty much dead. He will be able to cog out Dota stock, but the Lightning Bolt there from Afterlife. And nice rotation over to the top lane. That's a very worthy kill, and that'll give 538 experience to both the Zeus and the Void.
Definitely a pretty nice kill to get, but man, the power cogs, he got them off before the Chronosphere. Vicious Void, he ran into them twice there as well, while the Chronosphere was already active, so well, at least he didn't lose any more mana because he was already completely dry of it. Still nice kill, but they do lose a tier 1 bottom lane and mid lane as well. Mind Control did go for a Midas on the Temper Assassin, but up to 800 gold already as it is. So things are still looking pretty decent. I mean, Zeus though is rather highly leveled for this early into the game, being a mid laner after all. Has the Force Staff as well to save yourself from the cogs or save anybody from the cogs if need be. So for Cleave, I think it's just all about the mid game for them. I mean, Vicious Void can be a strong late game hero, but with the start that he's had, I wouldn't really count on that all that much.
Yeah.
So
And even being involved on that kill and the clockwork, he had to rotate back to base, so it's almost as if he died himself. Bambo was able to return to lane even before he was, and now he will pick up some farm in the mid lane, but Bambo is rotating towards him to find him, and Mind Control is sitting here at his level 11, and he'll throw out a Psionic Trap, perhaps to set up this hook here, but Dotasak going to rotate back down to the south underneath the creep wave, so not quite in position to be hooked yet. Bambo is also rotating towards that bot lane. Mind Control going to look to put a lot of harass into him, And Afterlife will rotate in to stave him off. Big weave goes out bottom. Fire Blast onto Jiu-Jitsu. One more right click from Magoma will bring him down. Grave will keep up Paris for the time being. Stampede trying to get Envy out. He's going to get chased down, though, by this Wolf and chopped down as well. Currently 2 down for Cleave. The hook's going to be barely late from Bambo to find Hakon's Centaur. But either way, a 2-0 going BU's way in the bot lane. And things looking very good for them as we transition out of this early game.
Yeah, fucking Mad has been pretty spot on with the Shallow Graves and Shadow Waves, of course, as well. Has the Urn of Shadows for extra heals if need be, or damage over time if that's the choice. But Dota stock mid lane, he has the Time Walk, he has the Chrono as well, gets melded. Sexy Bambo was trying to wait for him, but a little bit missed. Never mind, there's the Psionic Traps. Yeah, Time Walk was already used, so I don't know where he Time Walked, or it was a like tiny Time Walk, but just man, basically not having a great game. And Sexy Bambo, he's kind of like an offlane specialist.
Did I just see what I thought I saw? I think Mind Control attacked the cogs to get a Psyblades off onto the Void. That's pretty next level if that actually works. But either way, because it is like it's a friendly unit, but I guess you get Psyblades on denies as well, right? That's a very interesting.
Which is retarded, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, G2 though in some trouble. Sexy Memo with a double damage rune as well, slowed down by the Psionic Trap. The Poison Touch, as well as the Battery Assault being there for Clockwork. Who has himself a Staff of Wizardry as well. Might be a 4-staff, might be already the makings of that Aghanims, although I think it's a 4-staff first.
Probably. That Observer Ward they just planted on the high ground here was able to give them vision of Jiu-Jitsu as he rotated down. Unfortunately, just outside of vision of the Lion, who was very low as well. But Envy gonna pick up his level 6 here, so Finger of Death will be very nice against BU's lineup, especially if they can burst down fucking Mad. And as you mentioned earlier, he's been very good with his Graves as well as the healing from that level 4 Shadow Wave, so it would be very, very good for Cleave to be able to bring him down early in these engagements.
Just look at the graphs. It's like a 9k lead in Network for Unknown, and well, they're gonna get Afterlife now. There's the slow, stun to follow, no multicast. I guess he doesn't need it with Sexy Bambo being there, or does he? Cogs, nicely done, but the Stampede gets them to safety for now, but there's the hookshot lands onto Clockwork, activates his Blade Man. Magoma still alive, not for too long, well with the Magic Stick, with the Shallow Grave to come and help. Suddenly 3 heroes down. Just Ogre is way too damn tanky for those just plebs, man. Plebs cannot kill ogres.
So much HP on that Ogre. He'll get healed right back up with the Urn from Seb as well as the Shadow Wave. They'll be able to push with the defensive weave popped here, and they should bring down this tier 1 without contest. In fact, they're going to find out Hakon here. There's the Psionic Trap. He doesn't have his Stampede available. Meld Strike 1. Fire Blast multicast for Magoma. Did he just pick up that multicast? That's the first one I've seen. But he's already level 9 on this Ogre. Earth Spike, Finger of Death out onto Mind Control. He'll be able to stick up, though. And he does survive for the time being. Fire Blast goes out onto Envy. 1 Meld Strike is not quite enough, but they will bring him down with the Wolves. Or the Ignite Tick, in fact, was there to bring down the Lion. Still a 2-0. Wave of Terror gonna scout out Bambo, but Afterlife progresses a little bit too far forward. Dota stock looking for a Chrono. He'll find 2. Thunder God's Wrath is there. Magoma so tanky though. Magic Missile and the Lightning Bolt will be there to finish him off. But they will jump forward, get off another Meld Strike. That's Afterlife's life as well as Dota stocks. And Jiu-Jitsu looks like he's gonna be the last one to fall here. That'll be a 5-man wipe for an Ogre going the way of BU.
Oh man, life is sad if you're Cleave at the moment. Basically Unknown, they're just using the innate tankiness of their heroes as well as the Dazzle perfectly to just keep them alive for even longer. Also the weave was there on a couple of heroes, negative weave on Cleave that is, and she faces Void. It was ticking on him for a really long time, even on the Zeus as well. Just it allows for such easy kills for them, especially if the meld hit should follow up the already ticking weave. They just do not have the health pools on, for example, a Lion means 606 HP. It's just like 1 meld hit worth of HP.
Yeah, definitely. So Mind Control surviving there in the top lane, playing so balls deep, and him staying up was absolutely massive for Unknown, just for the fact that he would have fed over quite a bit to whoever was involved in his kill. And now BU taking a huge advantage. Mind Control level 13, almost 14 at 17 minutes in, is topping the experience board by leaps and bounds. Will throw out a Psionic Trap bottom. Afterlife gonna be able to back off, and Hakon gonna TP in. He's gonna go for the Stampede, blink forward, hoof stomp onto Mind Control. He will meld up, but he's been scouted out with the Sentry Ward. 2 Sentry Wards actually dropped there, and it is a big kill going the way of that trio for Cleave. As you see, 950 experience going after.
Modo gonna get hookshotted after the time walk out of the power cogs and all. He tries to do as much damage as he can before his death, but Paris even popping the shapeshift for it. They get the tier 1, they get the kill in return, so
Yeah.
yes, the kill of mind control definitely important, but maybe not quite important as losing your more or less only hope for late game, as well as just losing so much map control at the same time.
Yeah, and the Void now is very low on the net worth. He's 7th overall, below Magoma's Ogre Magi. Mid lane, they're going to grab out Envy here with a Fire Blast. Battery Assault going to slow him down despite the Hex. There's a negative Earn Charge here, and the Rocket Flare from Bambo going to finish off Envy. Meanwhile, bottom lane, their tier 1 is being pushed in, but they're going to look to trade this for a tier 2, and they're going to bring it down a lot quicker with Paris finding that. With his Wolves and Howl, they're going to commit 3 TPs and the Glyph to the bottom lane. Bambo is here, hookshot not up for 5 seconds, but he does have the Force Staff, and he can look to force forward. Swap back from Yujitsu. Will try to help his comrade back off, and he will be able to TP out, but the Vengeful gonna feed his life over for that. And tier 2 secured in the top lane, tier 1 secured for BU in the bottom, and they do find a kill as well.
So after this game, basically unknown, I think they've played every other team once in this group, and every single team has lost to a Lycan. Does it mean that Lycan should be in the first ban phase, coming out against basically unknown at the moment?
Well, I mean, for this particular game, I don't feel like Soxcha or Paris has done too much to warrant that, but the fact is that they are very comfortable with it and they haven't lost yet. So it definitely would be something to consider from most of these teams. And if Cleave doesn't ban out the Lycan, I definitely expect TTGR to ban out the Lycan as well. There's a hook shot here from Bambo, though, with that Fire Blast Ignite. Meld Strike, swap back onto Hakon from Yujitsu. He should pay with his life here, though. Battery's all ticking him down. Double Edge will be there from the center, but he'll be finished off as well. And it is fucking mad to pick up that kill. Easy 2 for nil.
Oh, mid lane Afterlife, Necro level 3. Oh, the 4 steps to the high ground, though. Easy escape for Zeus. Nicely done, just staying calm, thinking on his feet. But they lose another tier 2, lose 2 heroes. Necro level 3 done pre 20 minutes in. Things are just looking horrible for Cleave. If they had massive late game, it would be a little bit better for them. Or if they had at least like a Death Ward or Ice Blast to follow up the Chronosphere. But I think we've only seen 2 Chronospheres, I'd like to say. One where the Cogs pushed him back a couple of times and Zeus came in to help, and the second one which was in the jungle, which caught 2 heroes, yet they still had like a 1-for-5 trade in the end.
Yeah. They really didn't secure their late game by giving the supports over to the Centaur. But meanwhile, beautiful long-range hook from Bambo. He will get hexed up, however, and Lion should be able to make it back with 6 HP after that Rocket Flare. But mid lane, Magoma looking for something with that Bloodlust move speed. Psionic Chop will be there onto Yujitsu. Mind Control going to rotate forward. He will get stomped up, but the multicast is there, as it always is. And Mind Control going to get forced forward, but not going for the Centaur currently. He'll throw out a Psionic Chop onto Dota Stock, who will be able to leap, but it's only a level 2 leap. And nice force forward from Bambo will cog him in, and that'll kill him off. Blade Mail is there. Thunder God's Wrath will kill off the Clockwork. It brings Afterlife very low. Jump forward, Hoof Stomp. Double Edge will finish off the Aegis. Ignite goes out onto the Centaur. Mind Control going to pop back up. He should be able to at least find a kill on one here as he goes down, but he's going to get hexed up. Finger of Death before he can get the refraction off, and very nice overlap of abilities there from Cleave. They find some big kills, and that is overall a 2-for-2. Bambo also buying back, so they are going to look to find something here mid. Earth Spike is going to go out onto the Necro units. Nice hook from Bambo, and they're going to finish off the Lion as well. Paris finding the last hit. They will look to force in these buildings. Lion does have the buyback. The Void is down for 5 seconds, but will have Chrono when he's up. However, this lineup just melting the tower. Shapeshift goes out there from Soxcha, and he will finish off the melee racks here. Bambo gonna use a zoning cogs, but a Chrono does hit on 2. However, fucking Mad is outside of it, and he can use the Grave here. He stopped casting it. He's got the Shallow Wave. The multicast gonna finish off another big stomp from Hakon, but he'll go down. The Grave keeps up Paris for the time being. Afterlife gonna be the next to fall here, presumably. Blink forward from Mind Control, and the GG is called 22 minutes in. Ultra kill going Mind Control's way, and continuing with the theme, BU has not taken a game over 25 minutes thus far in Bridon.
Yeah, they're just looking way too dominant, to be honest. But of course, just this kind of performance makes it all the more worthwhile to wait for the second group stage where the number one position from each group will advance to. So at the moment already Balkan Bears are waiting there. Basically unknown. It's not certain yet that they will reach that stage, but it is more than likely, I would say.
Yeah.
So it's going to be basically unknown and BBC for sure being there, plus the two coming out from Group C and D as well. So that group stage already should be just a festival of awesomeness.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of good teams going to be up in that one. But either way, yep. BU asserting their dominance here in this game. The next game is BU once again versus TTGR, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. So not sure how much of a fight TTGR will be able to put up against them. But I think, as you alluded to, we can expect the Lycan ban out from this one.
Yeah, I would hope so. Just, if not win the game thanks to the ban of the Lycan, at least delayed out longer than 25 minutes. But
Definitely.
guys, having said that, this is it for this particular series. Basically Unknown versus TTGR. Time to Get Real will start in about 40 minutes time. We will be switching streamers as Rage will take over the stream for the next 2 games. So there will be a small picnic time, but don't worry, it's probably not going to be more than 30 seconds, if even that. But having said that, guys, if you like the cast, you can always follow us. And also, if you want to just check this game or check the games in-game, the tickets should be free, I think, for season number 1 of Bridon League. So kudos to the admins and just organizers for allowing you to watch it on Dota TV if you want. But for us, thanks for joining. If you want to follow the casters, it's at Coucher for me, at MRP_Dota for my co-caster. Underscores makes it so much harder, of course, for you to follow him, but... Well,
What a noob. Who makes a Twitter handle with an underscore, honestly? Either way, appreciate it, guys. And GG will be back for the next game. That's BU once again. So see some good play thus far.
Yeah, guys. So just music until then. It's about 35 minutes away.